Okay, so now we know, are we on the same page? Now we know if we sort of basically just try to run it, we know we'll have an error because there is no main function. Yeah?
Yes.
And the main function is what? The driver function. So let's start off by, let's make it our habit, right? To always include the IO stream. So you're just going to go pound, include, then open, close, and it's IO stream. We just make this our habit. Each time we are just writing code. So can I delete this now? Or do you need it for reference? Yeah. And remember, Julius, you don't need to have this, anything be within this particular two will be ignored. So it doesn't necessarily have to be cosine. It can be this, it can be anything, right? As long as it's within the two blocks. Yeah. Okay, so we've made this our habit now. We know you're going to get an error, but then we provide our driver function now. So the driver function is what's called main, right? What does main return? What kind of data type does main return?
Integers.
Main returns an integer. So main returns an integer. So it's going to be int main, open, close, and then you have open, close brace. So this is going to be sort of your standard skeleton whenever you write your C++ code. Of course, the main can take parameters, but we're not going to worry about that at the moment, okay? Yeah, and remember, we have a return type at the end if the code runs successfully. Now, we know from earlier that without the return, the code will still run, right? So now we have the content to get the basic code ready. But let's have a good practice of returning 0. So let's return 0. And put a semicolon. We need a semicolon at the end. The only thing we don't need a semicolon at the end of is the IO stream at the moment, okay? We need a semicolon at the end of a statement to show it's the end of a statement. Now we run again, we have no errors. It's the input-output stream. It allows us to print things to the screen and all those kind of things. Just have access to the those bunch. You can make use of a lot of functions that you need, but within here is let's make it a good practice, I'll say. Yeah, then within here there is one more that we want to use, but let's try something. Hello world, right? So there is something called copy out, right? And the copy out, we use these two less thans. And remember, it's a statement, so it's a keyword, right? So it's a statement, so it's going to end with semicolon. Now let's use these two braces because we want to print something, and we type hello world. We're not quite there yet, right? We're not quite there yet, but let's try this out anyway. So we know from the standard that we can make use of a C out, and then we can print hello world, right? So if I run it, if I click run right now.
Return 0, right?
Yes, the return 0 is the end. Like it shows when it finishes, I can get rid of this. Let me comment it out. So this return 0, the 0 is of what data type? An integer. So it means that this will be returned and placed here. That is why the main function returns an integer data type. So if we do return 0, then we're saying that it's the code successfully ran without any errors. Yeah, because if there are no errors, the compiler will reach this point. Yeah. Okay. So can we go back to this hello world thing? So once I run it, you realize I get an error. Cout was not declared in this scope. Remember, you need to declare a variable before you use it. It doesn't know what cout is. Yeah, but a cout is actually stored in a particular space where we have the std, and we're going to use the scope operator. It means going to std, right? Try to find what cout is. If I run it right now, it says hello world. So at the moment, it works well for me, right? But what that means is that if I want to write another code, I put another statement says, well done on completing your first code. Yeah.
Yes.
The problem, I know it's all combined. We'll talk about that. The problem right now is that each time I have to use hello world and this, each time I have to use hello world and that whenever I want to copy. If I want to use take input C in also, I need to use that. So to get around it, can I comment this out? I won't delete it. I'll comment it out. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll put the same 2 lines of code at the bottom. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah. So to work around it, we have an alternative, right? The alternative is to include that namespace in the code. So all the functions in there, or the name keywords in there, we can make use of it. So that is why we can include using the namespace std. So we say we are going to use this namespace so we can get rid of this and then try it out now. So suddenly it's working without. Remember before when we didn't use it, it told us that it didn't know what cout was. Okay, so I will sort of pause here and give you the chance to write it out now. And I can add something as soon as you finish. So remember we said they are both like on the same line simply because one, I'm also going to comment this out in a second. I'll show you difference there. Simply because we didn't tell it to put a new line,
Yes.
right? So I'm just going to copy this and repeat it. But each time I repeat something also, I want to show a clear line between them. Maybe I'll show a clear line between them, right? So each time I repeat it, this time I want to say maybe put my name. So this time maybe I put my name, but at the same time, I want there to be a new line on the next line. So I can't say I end this line and put a semicolon there. Get rid of that, put a semicolon there. Then we notice that the next one actually moved to a new line, right? And actually, if I want, I can also get rid of this and combine them on the same line. So it's pretty much the same, Michael, well done. Gets run on the same line. So we notice it's no different from the other one. Can you close the door for me, please? It's no different from the other one, right? Another way of creating a new line is using a special character called escape. So this backslash is called the escape, and then that makes it a special or escape character, which is just basically say create a new line there. So again, that has been moved to the next line. So you notice that the end line and this one is pretty much the same thing, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll put another one. So you would choose actually the same thing, still the same way of writing the same code with another new line. So now it's properly structured and we can indent this. So I'll give you time to complete, obviously replace with your own name, and I'll give you the chance to complete with your own code. Yeah? Then we save it.